Beachgoers in the Eastern Cape have had their wings clipped following the COVID-19 announcement by President Ramaphosa last night that beaches are to close. With the Eastern Cape being identified as a COVID hotspot, beaches will officially be closed from tomorrow until the 3rd of January. Today is the last day beach lovers can get their dose of vitamin C. For more, we cross now to my colleague Anda Nqonji, who's standing by for us in Port Elizabeth. Thanks very much for joining us, Anda. I do see people enjoying behind you. Tell us more.
Well, indeed, it is 25 degrees in Nelson Mandela Bay, and a number of beachgoers have come out to bake one last time before the complete closure of all the beaches in the Eastern Cape. This, of course, follows the announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa that beachgoers would have to just wait a little longer, at least between tomorrow and the 3rd of next month, before they can go back to the beaches to try and curb the growing numbers of COVID-19. As we all know, that there has been a hectic resurgence of COVID-19 in the Eastern Cape province, and the hotspot primarily being at first the Nelson Mandela Bay, which for some reason the president decided it was a very solid reason for them to close down the beaches and to perhaps try and contain this virus. Well, we have seen a number of people, and we have spoken to a few of them who have told us that they were very disappointed with this particular closure. Some concerned that the president only decided to shut down Eastern Cape and not Durban, and saying that it could have been a bit fair if the same things or the same restrictions that had been applied to places like KZN would have also been applied in the Nelson Mandela Bay. But others are fully understanding of this, saying that COVID-19 has put a hectic pressure on the healthcare system of the Nelson Mandela Bay and of the Eastern Cape, and of course the resources and the issue of the doctors and the inavailability or scarcity of doctors being high on the question of some residents who actually said that they were comfortable with this closure and that they hope that this will mean that this is how they get to save themselves and also their families. But right now I'm going to speak to a couple of residents whom I have met here at the beach today. Sir, can you just briefly tell us, how does the closure of this beach and the fact that this is your last day today make you feel?
It's a bit difficult for us because most of us don't have the luxury of having a swimming pool in the backyard, so it's difficult for us, but in the end we have to respect the president's decision or whatever decision that was made.
But in terms of now the COVID-19 and trying to reduce the numbers and perhaps contain them, do you actually think that this could have been, the best decision to make at this time of the year?
Honestly not, because I mean, whilst the taverns are open, the bars and the pubs are still open, I don't see them putting a curve on or reducing the number of COVID cases. But like I said, we need to respect whatever decision that was made, even though it's very difficult to accept, but yeah, we'll have to accept it.
Thank you so much, sir. That is just one of the residents we met here at the beach, saying that he finds it quite unfair that the beaches are closed at this time of the year, and also saying that it will actually, put a hectic strain in terms of their entertainment, because some of them or most people do not have swimming pools at their homes, and saying that he doesn't see the point of this closure. But let's speak to another resident. Sir? Hi. How do you feel about the president's announcement to close the beaches in the Eastern Cape?
I'm not happy with that, because it's not the right decision. I think the economy needs a break. I mean, why now at this time, this last 2 weeks of the year? They could have done this earlier. They had 2 or 3 months, they could have closed or whatever they wanted to do, but now at this time, this is the time where we come to the beach every year. It's a tradition. So I can't understand why they're closing the beaches, and they say it's because of Corona. But when you're on the beach, first of all, the temperatures are high. I mean, the virus can't survive in the high temperatures. And secondly, the seawater is good to wash your lungs clean. It's salt water, it kills the virus. So I don't think there's any scientific proof to say that if you close the beaches it will have an impact on the spread of the virus. The problem is in the areas where people are staying, where they need to control this, the taxis and people not wearing masks when they in crowds and so on. So, but I mean, they will deprive a lot of people now, and I think many people will show their displeasure I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see. But yeah, I don't see it as a wise decision, especially now at this time of the year. And people love the beach in PE, so they will be depriving people of a lot of pleasure and so on.
But,
so yeah.
Not to interrupt you, sir, but I'm sure you're familiar with this part of the town, especially at this time of the year, and
yes.
the congestion and the number of people that actually go out, to try and party or to try and find entertainment. Do you actually think that it would be ideal to keep the beaches and this area open regardless?
Fine. I mean, you have crowds in the malls. You've got crowds in the malls. It's even more dangerous. The malls are open. All the other areas are open, but the beaches, as I said, how can the virus survive? I mean, it's summer now. Won't survive in the air, it gets killed. And also the salt water is good for you, it washes you clean, so I think the risk is much less.
Thank you so much. So, Thank you so much. Well, that was just some of the beachgoers who are here today, saying that they are really not happy about the closure of the beaches tomorrow, and of course giving various reasons that they believe there is no justification on this closure. But I must also mention that we met a tourist earlier on who said that he came from Johannesburg specifically to enjoy the beaches here in Port Elizabeth, or maybe here in the Eastern Cape as well, but he was very disappointed when he heard the president yesterday, and it's very disappointing knowing that his holiday might be cut short because of this. But we've also met quite a number of understanding residents again in the Nelson Mandela Bay who say that having seen what goes on in this part of the town during festivities, this is the best thing, because things like social distancing are rarely adhered to, and that maybe it could also put a strain on the law enforcement that needs to attend quite a number of other incidents within the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, and that perhaps it will of course, or it would of course, put another strain on the healthcare system if the beaches would remain open. But right now, from myself, Anda Nqonji, and colleague Natasha Makondulu, it's back to you in studio.
Anda, I don't know whether you can hear me, but in terms of when the beaches close tomorrow, do we know what sort of reinforcements are going to be put across the beach in order to ensure that people don't breach the regulations?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question again?
Yes, how are they going to make sure that people don't go to the beach tomorrow, as of tomorrow?
Well, what we understand so far is that, the law enforcement is already working round the clock to try and make sure that every regulation within the Nelson Mandela Bay and in the Eastern Cape as a whole is being adhered to, including the fact that, there are curfew times for things like taverns and things like bars. We have seen already an enforcement of some regulations, such as the curfew, seeing some taverns and some bars and some restaurants being raided by the law enforcement. Which gives you an idea of what is going to happen in this part of the town, or in the Eastern Cape as a whole, in terms of trying to enforce these regulations. We expect to see volumes of people, particularly from the law enforcement or the SAPS, coming out as from tomorrow to see exactly what is going on and to make sure that everyone adheres to these regulations and does not come to the beach, as it will be closed from tomorrow until the 3rd of next month.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anda, for your report. Anda Nqonji reporting there from Port